The Flash, directed by Andy Muschietti, is the newest addition in the DCEU and follows Ezra Miller's Flash as they kind of traverse through the storyline and the events of Flashpoint, which, if you don't know, is one of the most important events in DC canon. It's like a Dark Phoenix or like an Endgame or Civil War, just like one of DC's really huge events that is very important in the comics. A film adaptation for this has been, theorized and talked about for, I don't know, for as long as I can even remember being conscious and talking about movies. And with this, we finally get the Flash movie that everybody thought wasn't going to come out. It was supposed to come out last year, but then, Ezra Miller decided to be themselves and just... I don't really want to get into the Ezra Miller thing. I don't think they're a very good person. I think they, have done pretty bad things, and I don't really want to get into them here. I don't think that now is the time to talk about what they've done. But that isn't really relevant to this movie. So, The Flash... I didn't think I was going to see this movie. I honestly thought this was never going to come out. I thought this was just going to be one of those things that was lost in production for forever. I just thought there's way too much publicity going on with this, and DC was just not handling any of this correctly, and especially with the huge swing and a miss that was Black Adam, and then another huge swing and a miss that was Shazam 2. I just thought they were going to can it and just wait until the James Gunn stuff comes out, because that's what their real focus is on right now, and I feel like with this movie, it was just like a last-ditch effort. Let's just try and salvage anything from the DCEU, because almost nothing has been clicking. My thoughts on the DCEU, I've talked about them in previous videos. I'm not the biggest fan. Nobody really is. I mean, there have just been so many bad DC movies over the years. Like, you have the original Suicide Squad, you have Wonder Woman 1989, you have Black Adam from last year, which made it onto my worst of the year list. There are a lot of bad ones. There's some fine ones. The first Shazam is okay. Aquaman is dumb fun. And then there's a really great one with the Suicide Squad. That movie's fantastic. But per usual, their in-universe stuff is not nearly as interesting as like the Batman or like the Harley Quinn animated show. Just other stuff where they let other creators kind of work with their IPs and do something way more interesting. You can even put in even though like the 2019 Joker isn't like my favorite thing in the world, that was still very interesting, and I liked that movie a lot. So they do more interesting things with stuff that isn't their in-universe stuff. If that makes sense. I don't know. I heard a lot of good buzz about this movie. I was interested in it, I guess, going into it. But surprisingly, I actually liked The Flash. It wasn't great. I'm not going to come out here and say this is one of my favorite movies of the year or anything. It has a lot of issues that I'll get into. But you know what? I enjoyed my time. I actually can say through and through that I was happy with the product that DC gave us. It was entertaining. It had fan service that didn't feel over the top. It gave us a Flashpoint storyline that actually did the source material justice. Ezra Miller didn't ruin it. I don't know. There was a lot of things went really well for this movie. A lot of things didn't, and I'll get into those now. Everybody has talked about it to death at this point, but the CGI, holy shit, the CGI is so bad in this movie. It is comical. Like, it is worse than Xbox 360 graphics. Like, if this movie were to come out in 2008, people would have gone like, what the fuck is that? Why does it look like that? And it is now 2023, 15 years, right? Yeah, 15 years. I have no words for the CGI artists, or even not even them, just like the studio that signed off on this and like, yeah, this is great. Let's put this out as a product. We were putting billions of dollars into this movie. Let's sign off on this CGI. It is mind-bogglingly bad all throughout the movie, and it's a very ugly movie to look at sometimes. So that's a big detractor. And the first act is really messy, and kind of borderline unwatchable. It's very unfunny. It relies a lot on Ezra Miller, and I in like a bad way. I don't know. They just don't give a good performance throughout the first couple of minutes of this movie. Like Flash's dad in the Barry Allen's dad in the movie, he was awful, and I normally like that actor. I think Ron Livingston or something like that. I don't know. The first like 40 minutes of this movie before like the actual Flashpoint event happens, it was bad. It was really bad, and I was just sitting there like, oh god, here we go again, another shitty DCEU movie. Just add it to the list because they're piling up at this point. But once things started going and we actually got to like the time travel and Barry Allen fucking everything up in the multiverse, that's when I started to like the movie. I felt that it used the multiverse as I don't know. I feel like it worked because it told a more personable story. Like it always centered on Barry Allen and his mistakes and how it rippled throughout the universe. The problem with a lot of multiverse movies is they kind of get lost in their own concept. But I feel like here it worked. It didn't work on like a Doctor Strange 2 level for me, which again, I'm a big fan of that movie, but we won't have to get into that right now. But for me, it really worked, and I liked the directions they went with that. The middle section of the movie, it's not a spoiler. Michael Keaton's Batman is in this movie. We all know that. It's in the trailer. That's not a spoiler. Once we meet him, things start to really ramp up, and I was very interested. There's obviously two Barry Allens, and I think their chemistry really worked. Even though it's the same actor, I actually really liked how they played off of each other, which is weird. And Michael Keaton was great. I mean, he fit like a glove right back into this role, and I liked seeing an older Batman. I liked seeing a different side of Bruce Wayne that we haven't seen in a little bit. I don't think we've ever seen in live action, like an older Batman. I thought, I don't know, that really, really worked for me. And I don't know, there was just a ton of really great action, and I was enjoying what was going on. It's very much like a turn your brain off, just enjoy movie. But honestly, that's kind of what I needed. Like, I didn't need another Black Adam or like another Shazam where it's just like corny and not in a good way. It's really boring, and it's really like sluggish and going through the same tropes that we've been going through for years. This was something fresh. This felt like something modern. It felt like something we kind of haven't seen before. And I thought it hit that balance of like sometimes a little creepy, sometimes it was a little heavy-handed, sometimes it was really funny and entertaining. It rode that line really well all throughout the movie, and I felt like if you can set aside your, immediate reaction of, oh, this is ugly CGI, it really works. And there's some visually really gorgeous shots in this, especially of Wayne Manor when they first reached there. Those are all shot really well. I like that Andy Muschietti was brought on for this, which at first seemed like a really weird choice, like really the it guy. That's strange. But I felt like his style was stamped all throughout this movie, and I felt like it actually really worked for me. And I didn't have any issues with the ending. I thought it wrapped things up in a really nice way. And I gotta give it to whoever edited this thing to salvage likability out of Ezra Miller. Like, it's crazy how this horrible human being who's just, like, done a lot of awful things is actually made to be likable in this movie. I mean, it's not like a good thing morally, I guess, but it's definitely good filmmaking to get us on their side. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the Flash movie. It was just really entertaining. It was well acted throughout the most part. There's some really shitty dialogue, but that's just kind of comes to the territory with DCEU movies. That's something you kind of have to take on the chin when watching these movies. But to me, this was just a really fun and solid superhero movie. It's something we haven't seen in a while, where it rides the line of like campy superhero fun while also being a really entertaining action movie, and not in like a Marvel-y way at all either. I don't know. I feel like this movie has a very distinct voice, and it is very you can pick this one out of a crowd, if that makes sense. Which again may not seem like a lot of high praise, but I did end up enjoying my time with The Flash way more than I thought it was. It's very flawed. It's definitely like a giant mess at times, but I would definitely watch this again, and I think it's one of the more entertaining superhero movies we've gotten in a really long time. So I'm going to give The Flash a strong B. I liked it. I don't know. I didn't think I would. It doesn't seem like a movie that I would really like, but I don't know. I enjoyed my time with it. So that's my thoughts on The Flash. What did you guys think of it? Did it meet your expectations? Did you end up really loving it like some people did? Are you hating it? You can't get over that CGI. It's too much of a mess for you. You can't get over Ezra Miller, which is totally understandable. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you guys with the next review.